Third
Here
base, fourth base. Boom shakalaka, baby.
Boom shakalaka. We're hopping into game number 2, New Gettysburg, ladies and gentlemen. And I am very, very excited as we spawn down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. The red Protoss player trying to keep his hopes and dreams alive because this is the loser's bracket. Give it up for Team Ascension's Creature.
Let's get it. And in the bottom right-hand corner, representing Storm Gaming, the purple Terran player, he is UpATree. He's actually over there, though, but not UpATree. No.
He's playing from a tree.
That would be awesome.
We had one custom set up.
Yeah.
It's like
I wish he would stream like that. Like if he had a green screen.
Just actually get a treehouse.
Yo, how sick would that be?
A literal treehouse.
How sick would that be?
Don't even green screen the treehouse. It's an actual treehouse. Just get a really long Ethernet cable.
You need it.
Power strip for days, man.
Yo, we should talk to him after this, man. He's not.
Yeah, I feel like we have some really good ideas.
Yeah.
Could really improve his stream.
I'm his teammate too. This is my, responsibility.
Oh man. So, New Gettysburg, certainly an interesting map. I think we talked about this in the Terran versus Zerg. Steph and I were talking about how those air blockers really limit the number of locations that drops can come in from. Definitely makes it a little bit easier in some ways to deal with that harassment because of it, but at the same time, this is also one of those maps that you sort of start to feel like you're getting spread out vertically a lot against your opponents.
I know it can be pretty difficult sometimes too, just because of how much distance you do have to cover. And you don't really see people take the forward base, the one that's like, instead of expanding vertically, these ones here. I don't see them that often, Is it too much of a risk?
When I do, I usually end up seeing them lose.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's just, hey.
It's like I see it sometimes. I just see it when they lose.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is that it's right next to the destructible rocks. It's so difficult to take safely as a third. Even
Unless
a fourth
you're ahead,
expansion,
perhaps, maybe?
Yeah,
like you have to be really ahead.
You have to be really far ahead, or you have to have one of those really scary death armies, like the Tempest or something, that can very easily, there may be slow units that you want close to your opponent, and you can quickly push across the map with.
Okay.
But if you ever get dropped in your natural defense, your main base, you aren't prepared for that, or if there's a big Zergling run by or something along those lines, you don't want to be taking those forward expansions, especially in this matchup where drops are so common.
Exactly, and we already saw that was basically what brought UpATree back into the game too. So, thriving in that very, very chaotic situation, he was able to bring it back. And yeah, I needed to see what happened to that third, because the whole time I had thought that he had the third in the base, and then all he needed to do was go ahead and land it, and then float the other base. So, not going to be the case. That was a really good Widowmine hit, by the way, in the beginning of the game. I think it evened out the workers, which is funny to say, because if that didn't happen, Creature would have been so far ahead.
It would have absolutely spiraled even further out, and maybe that would have resulted in a different game number 1. But
exactly.
I mean, we do have another Widowmine that was made, but once again, just burrowing inside of that mineral line, waiting around for potential of oracles or something along those lines as the starport is still finishing up.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if he does the same kind of thing. I do like this map for that kind of play. He is making the meta back here, so Widowmine's already out. First defensively, making sure that he gets use out of them in case there were to be an Oracle. Not sure if Creature likes to play that style. It seems like he really favors the ground army. So even against, who was it? Against Jason, he decided to go for disruptors in the later game, and then even getting into that Tempest later. It's like I think
that's something I've noticed about Creature is that I wouldn't pin him as the player who does X or the player who does Y. He's not necessarily like a Puck who often is known for going for a very specific playstyle. And I think that's one of the things that you always have to be a little bit worried about. This game goes for a very similar thing as last game with the Blink and Twilight Council and the Robotic Facility for the War Prism, but it's a rearrangement of how the order he gets it. He gets the Robotic Facility first. Ooh, that Observer. Oh! Widowmine getting some revenge for Widowmines everywhere.
That is sick, though. Just Creature probably like, okay, I know it's coming, but then UpATree has that eagle eye,
And that's actually a problem because Creature does not have an Observer anymore, and he wants to use that Robotics Facility time to get out other units, and he wants to maybe get out another War Prism or an Immortal or something along those lines, but now he's got to make another Observer while he gets up his own Blink.
Oh, this is great. UpATree hitting at this timing as the third base goes down. Creature was able to get this up basically uncontested last time. These Marines, though, I don't know. It's going to be close, but I think the Stalker should be able to
go for it.
Oh, my.
He does back out. He knows that probably Blink is going to be finishing up relatively shortly, although this game, it was Robotic Facility, then Twilight Council rather than the other way around. If it,
It was Twilight,
if
yeah.
it was Twilight Council first, I think Blink would have been finished up, and that is what UpATree had to be a little
He
bit
must have been afraid about, yeah. And if he loses that army, even though it's a little bit no, Creature.
Oh, the double photon overcharge.
Oh!
One would have mind, but the other one gets some good shots off.
Yeah, not as epic as the last one, but you know, getting any damage is going to be good damage here. And that Observer does have to come back.
He does have to clean it up. Tempo, he has to clean it up.
You know.
Okay, there's the Observer.
Okay.
Okay.
But the Mother Support, okay.
Photon overcharge.
Have as good, yeah.
Stop having over the third expansion. We had the Medivac still trying to move in. It looks like one Medivac still alive. Got 7 Marines still in it. Trying to get some more damage done. But that third expansion definitely got pretty low for Creature.
It did, and that is going to allow UpATree to come back later on in order to try to snipe it, especially when Stim is done, right? He couldn't really do the damage that he wanted to, but it did tax Creature's multitasking. If he was able to time that Widow Mine drop a little bit closer to the attack on the throw, yeah, right, passing in the night. I was thinking, though, if he had timed it a little bit better, then he would have been able to get maybe more damage in the main. But maybe this Liberator could get something done because all of the Stalkers are on the other side of the map. This is a terrible time for a Liberator to come in here as a Protoss player.
Yeah, Observer doesn't really do anything versus the Liberator. The Liberator taking the long way around, but does avoid the pylons, and I think he's out of range of both.
Oh my god.
Oh man, third expansion also being dropped at the same time. The army for Creature is on the other side of the map because it's pushing into the natural. Stalkers blinking on forward over the supply depot wall, and this is turning into a base trade tempo. Again, I know that oh my god, those siege tank shots. I was going to say it's going to favor UpATree because he's used to these situations, but I think it's going to favor UpATree just because he's getting more damage done.
Exactly. That Liberator is still alive on the other side of the map. He has Marines targeting down the Nexus.
Medivac gets taken out, and the Nexus is going to end up falling. The SCV is going to be soaking up a lot of hits. Stalkers do not do damage very quickly.
No.
And it looks like most of the main base's army for UpATree got cleaned up, as well as actually both these players pretty much just left around with one set of units here. But the Warp Prism is still alive.
Oh, that's so scary. One warp in there. Okay, he decides not to do it. Blinks on over. And, you know, I feel like Creature might have been got the better end of that.
Yeah.
Because he kept the Stalkers alive.
Exactly.
If he lost the Stalkers, I would have said, okay, it's either even or UpATree can kind of try to come back in and put the aggression on because of the lack of army from Creature. Oh, this Liberator, I don't know how many kills it had, but we'll never know.
The little Liberator that thought he could take on that Stalker army. I mean, I appreciate the gumption, but we do have a situation like you were saying. UpATree lost a lot of his army as well as a lot of his workers, whereas Creature kept a lot of his Stalkers alive, and that allowed him to continue this kind of pressure. Got to be careful, those Stalkers do not want to fight against Stim Bio, especially with the Marauders in the mix. So these are once again that situation where the Creature, if he gives away too many of these Stalkers, if he gets over eager with them, we could see a repeat of that last game.
Exactly. I would love it if he were to just, you know, take this third base, continue to poke, you know. He doesn't have to ever really commit to it. That Warp Prism is still alive, so the fact that he is going to be going for Disruptors, he can start getting that big Disruptor count up while still doing a bit of harassment. Whoa. UpATree getting a bit aggressive here. He does want to take that third base and also just thin out that Stalker count as best as he can. Oh, that was close, though. There's no concussive shell once again.
Yeah. That lack of concussive shells has actually really been hurting him, but you take a look, and part of the reason why is because, once again, Comet Shields is on the way. It's such a late Comet Shields, but
9 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was dealing with that crazy game and that crazy situation that was turning into almost a base trade, so I don't really blame him too much for it, but Disruptor is going to be coming on out. Creature mixing it up.
Yeah, I like it. He's going for the
Warp Prism Speed.
Warp Prism Speed, just call it that, because they all named their...
No, not Anion Pulse Crystals. That's a Phoenix.
It's like Gravitic Drive or Gravitic something.
Gravitic Drive.
Because there's Observer 1 and they both have like the same name almost.
Yeah. Whoa. Ooh, okay, Marines and Marauders stepping on forward. He needs to get out of the Disruptor shot. Looks like he's doing a pretty good job of it so far.
Yeah, not bad. Looks like he did at least split there. You know, it wasn't like he just moved everything back. He's showing that he
Jason, I mean, I know that those two are very good friends, but they are very, very different in playstyle.
Indeed. So, despite a very incredibly aggressive early game and mid game, we're gonna go kind of slow down a bit now, it seems.
Yeah. Dark Shrine on the way also, and I think that we're gonna see like little bits more of aggression coming out from Creature, but I don't think it's gonna be just moving out with the entire army and trying to end the game. I think it's going to be, as you were saying, a bit of a calming moment.
Yeah.
While UpATree may even actually try and get up some transitionary tech at some point, but at third expansion, it's only just now started to mine. UpATree is still playing a bit of catch-up in terms of economy.
Exactly. He has to basically... UpATree! Gonna almost lose that medevac. Very close. That blink at the last second, right? It's just
Oh, he wishes so badly. Why can't I just round where I blink over? It's like, if I blink close enough to the island, just take me over.
If you could like suicide the stalker to just like fly over the cliff but get a shot before it falls off, that'd be sick.
That'd be fantastic. I would sacrifice multiple stalkers. I would sacrifice more stalkers than it would be worth just because it'd look really cool.
That'd be amazing. So unfortunately not yet. Maybe StarCraft 3, but yeah, we're gonna.
Listening?
Once again, though, the Disruptor Tech with the Blink Stalker, such a good combination of units here. And you need to be really careful as a Terran player to not lose a big chunk of your army to that.
Got to be so careful. The Liberator production is coming out. This is, again, that sort of old school style of PvT, but the weird thing about this that a lot of players found is that Stalkers can deal really well with the Liberators in massive numbers, especially when you have the Disruptors and everything to join forces, but it really does come down to the positioning. You need to protect your Liberators.
Yep.
Oh, double medevac drop. Gonna get taken out so quickly.
Whoa.
Oh, Photon overcharge. David Kim, please.
Photon overpowered. That's good.
Steve Shanks dropping down. Get some good shots off.
Yeah.
Disruptors are actually starting to get up into pretty high numbers of 4 or 5 Disruptors, but almost all of them are cooldown right now. 2 more are going to come off, but UpATree has not been eating any of these big Disruptor shots. It's only a matter of time when you have this many that are going to be out, but he's been doing a good job so far.
Whoa, oh, did you speak too
soon?
Well, there's another one going down. Not the best splits. UpATree taking a huge chunk of damage there.
Yeah, but
did he trade for the Disruptor, though, at least?
He did take out the Disruptors, and that's the important thing I want to note, is that, yeah, he took some damage, but he's trading out, and he's going to be at least softening up not just the Disruptor count, but the